Beneath our feet and above our heads, a secret empire thrives, ruled by six-legged masters of order.
They belong to a vast biological family known as Hymenoptera, the most dominant social insects on Earth.
In this colorful world, individual survival is secondary to the needs and success of the greater colony.
We begin our journey on the forest floor, where millions of tiny architects build cities of dirt.
The anthill appears silent from the outside, but underneath lies a sprawling metropolis of constant activity.
Specialized chambers descend deep into the cool earth, housing nurseries, food storage, and the royal queen herself.
The queen is the heart of the colony, a biological machine dedicated to populating the workforce daily.
Workers tend to the fragile eggs with gentle mandibles, rotating them to ensure proper warmth and humidity.
Outside, the foragers march in endless lines, scouring the landscape for resources to sustain the growing population.
Leafcutter ants possess jaws that vibrate like electric saws, slicing through tough vegetation with incredible speed and precision.
But peace is rare in the insect world, and turf wars between rival colonies are brutally common.
Soldiers clash with chemical weapons and crushing jaws, sacrificing their lives to protect the colony's territory.
Victors claim the land and resources, proving that in this microscopic world, strength comes in numbers.
Leaving the earthbound ants, we look upward to the masters of the sky and the flower.
The honeybee is an engineering marvel, designed by evolution to maximize efficiency in flight and resource gathering.
Special hairs cover her body to catch pollen, while baskets on her legs store the heavy cargo.
Guided by ultraviolet patterns invisible to us, she locates the nectar source deep within the flower's center.
Loaded with energy, she returns to the hive, a golden fortress suspended safely above the predator-filled ground.
The hive is a miracle of geometry, constructed from wax secreted by the bee's own abdominal glands. Hexagons are the most efficient shape in nature, offering maximum storage space with minimal use of wax. Workers fan their wings furiously to evaporate water from the nectar, thickening it into the honey we know.
To share locations, scouts perform the waggle dance, a complex language of movement, vibration, and angle.
Like the ants, the bee colony revolves around a single queen who binds the society together chemically.
Male drones have no stingers and do no work. Their only purpose is to mate with queens. Guard bees stand watch at the entrance, ready to sacrifice their lives to repel thieves and predators.
Their weapon is a barbed stinger that pumps venom, but often tears fatal wounds in the defender.
While gathering food, they accidentally perform their most vital role, pollinating plants that feed the world. 1/3 of the human diet depends directly on the tireless labor of these fuzzy-flying agriculturalists.
But there is a third cousin in this family, sleeker, faster, and often more feared by humans. Wasps are the wolves of the insect world, built for hunting, with smooth stingers and powerful jaws.
Unlike bees, most wasps are carnivorous, scavenging meat to feed their developing larvae back at the nest.
Their homes are made of paper, created by chewing wood fibers into a pulp and sculpting layers. Inside, the architecture rivals the honeybee, but the cells house captured caterpillars instead of sweet nectar.
Wasps are vital pest controllers, removing millions of tons of insects from the environment every single year. Not all wasps live in colonies. Solitary hunters paralyze spiders and bury them alive with their eggs.
The Tarantula Hawk dares to attack prey 10 times its size, relying on a potent, paralyzing sting. Some wasps are so specialized they are born, breed, and die entirely within the center of a fig. Despite their differences, these three groups share a common evolutionary blueprint that has conquered the entire globe.
Fossil records show these social structures existed alongside the dinosaurs, surviving catastrophes that wiped out larger beasts.
Weaver ants in the tropics use their own larvae as glue guns to stitch leaves into nests. The Japanese giant hornet is a flying tank, capable of decimating a honeybee hive in mere hours.
But the bees have a secret weapon. They ball around the invader and vibrate to cook it alive.
Bumblebees use buzz pollination, unhooking their flight muscles to shake pollen loose from reluctant tomato flowers.
Unlike honeybees, bumblebee colonies are small and annual, with only the new queens surviving the freezing winter.
Army ants have no permanent home. They are a nomadic legion that devours everything in its path.
At night, they link their bodies together to form a living nest, sheltering the queen within walls of soldiers.
Many ants farm aphids like cattle, protecting them from predators in exchange for sweet, nutritious honeydew secretions.
When disaster strikes, the colony acts as a superorganism, sacrificing individuals to save the reproductive future.
Fire ants can survive floods by linking bodies to form a waterproof raft that floats for weeks.
Urban expansion brings humans and Hymenoptera into conflict, often resulting in panic and misunderstood extermination efforts.
Chemical pesticides confuse their navigation systems, leaving workers lost and unable to find their way home.
Habitat loss and monoculture farming create green deserts where pollinators starve from a lack of floral diversity.
However, urban beekeeping is rising, creating safe havens for pollinators high above the concrete jungle streets.
Researchers are racing to understand colony collapse disorder to ensure these vital insects survive the changing climate.
Engineers are even designing robotic bees to mimic their flight and pollination skills as a backup plan.
Humans have revered the honeybee for millennia, regarding honey as a divine gift from the gods above.
Before electricity, it was the clean burning wax of the honeycomb that lit our homes and sacred spaces.
Honey's natural antibacterial properties have been used to treat wounds and preserve food for thousands of years.
Some ants have lost the ability to care for themselves and must steal workers from other species.
The stolen larvae hatch believing they are part of the colony, spending their lives serving their kidnappers.
The deceptive velvet ant is actually a wingless wasp with a sting so painful it scares cows.
Mud daubers are peaceful architects, constructing long tubes of clay to house their offspring and spider provisions.
The cicada killer is a gentle giant to humans, but a nightmare for the loud insects of summer. Carpenter bees are solitary woodworkers, vibrating their bodies to drill perfectly round tunnels into solid timber decks.
The orchid bee is the jewel of the rainforest, collecting fragrances to create a perfume that attracts mates.
Scientists categorize their defense mechanisms on the Schmidt Pain Index, ranging from annoying to absolutely agonizing.
At the top sits the bullet ant, whose sting is described as walking over flaming charcoal with nails.
Yet, this ferocity is matched by cooperation. They use their bodies as living infrastructure to overcome obstacles.
The trapjaw ant has the fastest moving predatory strike in the animal kingdom, snapping shut instantly.
They can even use this explosive force to catapult themselves away from danger, defying gravity in milliseconds.
Parasitoid wasps are nature's grim population control, injecting eggs into hosts that are eaten from the inside.
Farmers now use these specific wasps as a chemical-free way to protect crops from destructive vegetable eaters.
Winter is the ultimate test. The colony forms a thermal ball, rotating positions to share the warmth.
As the sun warms the earth, once a year, winged queens and males take to the sky in a massive synchronized nuptial flight. After mating, the queen descends, snaps off her own wings, and digs the chamber that starts it all.
Some Argentine ants have formed a mega colony stretching thousands of miles across Europe, acting as one family.
Their intelligence is shocking. Bees can learn abstract concepts, solve puzzles, and even recognize human faces.
They can be trained to pull strings to access food, and then teach that skill to others.
When a hive becomes too crowded, half the colony leaves in a swarm to find a new home.
Scouts explore options and vote through dance, debating until a consensus is reached on the best location.
It is a life or death decision. Choosing a poor shelter means the entire group will perish before spring arrives.
In Africa, the acacia tree provides hollow thorns for ants to live in, creating a standing army. If a giraffe tries to eat the leaves, the ants swarm out and sting the animal's sensitive nose. Cordyceps fungus infects ants, hijacking their brains and forcing them to climb high before killing them.
The fungus then rains deadly spores down onto the colony below, threatening to wipe out the entire nest.
To prevent this, ants have strict sanitation protocols, removing sick individuals to quarantine outside the city walls.
Bees collect tree resin to create propolis, a disinfectant glue used to seal cracks and sanitize the hive.
This bee glue is so effective against bacteria that the inside of a hive is cleaner than a hospital.
In extreme heat, wasps cool their nests by bringing water droplets and fanning them to create air conditioning. Paper wasps have complex facial patterns that allow them to recognize individual nestmates and remember their rank. Social hierarchy is maintained through physical dominance, ensuring the strongest genes are passed to the next generation.
The jewel wasp is a thief, laying its eggs in the nests of others to be raised for free.
It has evolved a rock-hard exoskeleton that curls into a ball to survive attacks from the angry hosts.
These insects are the glue of the ecosystem, connecting soil health, plant reproduction, and animal diets together.
Ants turn more soil than earthworms, aerating the ground and allowing water to reach thirsty plant roots.
They also disperse seeds, carrying them underground where they are protected from fire and ready to sprout.
A healthy meadow is a busy one, filled with the hum of thousands of tiny wings at work.
We often fear the sting, forgetting that these creatures usually attack only when they feel their family threatened.
Planting native flowers and avoiding chemicals are simple ways we can support these essential neighbors in our backyards.
Even a simple dish of water with stones for landing pads can save hundreds of tired foragers daily.
Leaving a corner of your garden wild provides crucial nesting sites for solitary bees and beneficial predatory wasps.
The global economy relies on the pollination services provided by bees, valued at hundreds of billions of dollars.
Without them, our supermarkets would be empty of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and even coffee and chocolate. They have survived ice ages and meteor strikes, proving that cooperation is the most enduring survival strategy.
The ant teaches us industry and strength, moving mountains one grain of sand at a time.
The bee teaches us sacrifice and sweetness, transforming the fleeting beauty of flowers into lasting sustenance.
The wasp teaches us resilience and balance, keeping the population of other insects in check through predation.
Together, they form a hive mind,
a collective intelligence far smarter than any single member could be. Human architects and engineers look to these insect empires for solutions to traffic, ventilation, and construction.
We are only just beginning to unlock the secrets of their flight, communication, and chemical manufacturing.
They are the keepers of ancient wisdom, a biological success story written in the DNA of millions.
As the sun rises on a new day, the work begins again, silent, efficient, and endless.
So the next time you hear a buzz, pause to appreciate the complex life behind the sound.
Respect the tiny giants under your feet, for they are the true engineers of our living planet.
The ant, the bee, and the wasp, diverse in form, but united in their mastery of cooperation.
These ancient empire builders remind us